the emotions hit of, our firstborn. How are you going to have enough love for these two human beings? Mm-hmm. Because you already fall so much in love with, obviously, our son. And I don't want to disappoint him as well.
I mean, it's really an amazing, momentous occasion. 2 times we went to the hospital.
This is our firstborn.
Yeah, yes. Really thinking that we were going to...
We had 2 false alarms.
2 false alarms. We get over there and they say, hey, great to see you. Go back home.
Yes. So we went basically after the second membrane sweep on the Tuesday. We went through Wednesday, Thursday with this on and off. And then...
All right. Well... Welcome back.
Welcome back. There might not have been a break for you, but there's been a bit of a break for us.
So welcome to Munch Corner. I am Omar, and this is my beautiful wife, Savannah.
And we have a little guest with us.
Very little guest.
Member.
Do not expect her to say very much, except for a few tiny little sounds.
And grunts.
But we are very happy to welcome our beautiful daughter, Aurelia. So she has now joined us. And Savannah is holding our precious little cargo.
Yes, this episode is going to be a little bit different, obviously, because we have a guest and we're going to share with you our wonderful birth story.
Yeah, so this is different than a lot of other podcast guests, just to let you know. But she is here with us and she is hopefully going to stay happy.
She's 2 weeks old today.
Yes, so she's very, very young.
She's grown quite a bit in 2 weeks. But if we look sleep deprived, it's an illusion. Yes. We're definitely not sleep deprived.
And that's where the little crickets come in. Yeah, it's very much an illusion. So to help us with that, we do have our fall tea.
We do. We have it in our Halloween ghost cups.
Yes.
Lovely.
So Savannah's got the angel one, and I have the scarecrow.
Oh, this is the one like a pumpkin or caramel guy?
Yeah. So this, I'm going to help you.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm a little bit more restricted.
She might have a few things in her hands.
Yes.
This is our August tea, rooibos infused with pumpkin and caramel.
Oh, yes. Now I can taste the caramel.
Perfect for the season. And, of course, it has a wonderful name. They always come up with fun names. Psycho Candy.
Oh, yes, Psycho Candy.
So this is a new old favorite for us. It's not something we haven't had before, but we absolutely enjoy this. And we also love the fact that our little one is an October baby. So we consider her a little bit of a Halloween baby because we do enjoy the holiday so much, with the whole month of celebrating, looking at spooky things. And I'm hoping that she is going to love it too. That's going to take a little time.
As the kids get older, it's going to be fun to watch them enjoy Halloween.
Yeah, so I think this is going to be good. But let's not hold our audience too much.
No, so if you have not watched one of our previous episodes, we do have a 15-month-old son.
Yes.
And our daughter's 2 weeks old. So it's been a bit of an adjustment the past 2 weeks. But we'll focus on...
It's an understatement. So I want you to know that Savannah's saying a little bit of an adjustment. It's the ring around our eyes that are showing part of this adjustment. We've just had our little guy pretty much start going to sleep through the night, and then we're doing a reset with the stopwatch.
We are doing a reset, but we do want to share... As we go through life a little bit with 2 under 2, we'll share that a bit later, how it's been our experience. But for now, the focus is obviously her birth story.
Yes.
So, okay. So I guess I should start by saying this one was obviously very different. It went fast, but it went slow at the same time, just because I had prodromal labor. Like, I was in labor like a week before I officially went into active labor.
We went through this thing where Savannah was having enough contractions that we thought, okay, today's the day. And then tomorrow.
And then they would fizzle out.
And tomorrow's the day. And then you keep going over and over again.
To give a bit of a backstory, at my 39-week appointment, I got a membrane sweep. So that kind of got things started.
Explain a little bit of what that is, because I don't think everybody knows what that is.
If you don't know what a membrane sweep, it's basically just where your OB will go and basically rub your cervix. It's just to get like, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a sweep. So she does a circular motion. I'm I want to say it almost like irritates the cervix a little
I'll
bit.
bet you it does, yeah.
To kind of kickstart labor. The first membrane sweep doesn't necessarily put you into labor, and it also depends on how far dilated you are.
Why don't we back up one little step and describe why that happened? Why did you get the membrane sweep?
Well, I got it just because I wanted to go into natural labor, but my mom was also visiting from overseas, so we knew that we wanted to get into a time frame that we had help around for our son while our daughter was being born. And the membrane sweep, I wanted to avoid induction. So this seemed like the most minor step to take without really kind of pushing labor too much. And the membrane sweep as well, there's a bit of a peace of mind kind of knowing you're in the right hands with your doctor. And
you reach for Savannah, we went through this also with Ryland, but when you reach that 40-week mark for your baby, you want to see the steps in which they're actually coming into to actually be with you, and join you. So to me, the membrane sweep was an important step in just making sure that she's healthy, she's born at the right time. And again, we also laughed because we really wanted her to pick her day, and she did pick her day. So,
yes, it worked out. So, I mean, the first membrane sweep was great and all, but it picked things up and then it fizzled out.
She meant that in a sarcastic way because it was not a comfortable experience.
It's not comfortable because, I mean, I'm already pretty tired with leading up to labor outside of actually giving birth. So my 40-week appointment came, obviously a week later, nothing happened. And I got a second membrane sweep. And this time around, like the contractions started getting a little bit more intense, but then they stopped.
And it was this moment of like, she's coming.
She's coming. She's coming. And then, no, she's like, she's not coming.
We're on standby. And then we're not.
Yes. So it's interesting because I got the membrane sweep the Tuesday at my 40-week appointment, and I had really extreme contractions for like 2 days. And when I say contractions, they weren't Braxton Hicks. They were like every 5-10 minutes apart for about a minute long. And if you're not familiar with Braxton Hicks, it's basically practice contractions. Your body is testing is basically giving your body a test run of what to expect in labor, but it's not actually labor.
And for those guys out there, I'll give you the analogy because I really liked it. It's as if you are now doing a bench press. And so, but it's obviously it's not your biceps, shoulders, or any other muscles that you're using, but it's the same concept. You are using the muscle, you're pushing it, you're trying to figure out how much you can get out of the muscle to help it grow and get ready for what you are planning on doing long term.
So it is basically, for someone who's never experienced it, it's just tightening of your abdominal walls of your stomach, because you can literally feel when you're relaxed and there's no contraction to when you have a Braxton Hicks or contraction. It feels like rock hard. So anyway, so for a couple of days it was like pretty intense, and then for an entire day, nothing. It just stopped. And when I say they were intense, they were to the point where they were actually waking me up throughout the night. I'd be fast asleep and I'd wake up and say, "Oof, wow, that was painful." And it would keep me up, and then I'd stay up for an hour or two timing these contractions, thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be it. And then nothing happened. No. So I mean, we went about our day normally. I did everything under the sun: dates, chamomile tea.
But you didn't get the special adjustment from our doctor,
the chiropractor.
So this is one of the little myths out there, but we were amused by it, so we always use it as a joke. But our chiropractor is an amazing guy, and he's great with a whole range. But in our particular case here, he's very adept at working with pregnant women because and this is Savannah can attest to this, I cannot, that as your body gets ready for a delivery, all of a sudden your joints are a little more loose. And this is all part of being ready to actually have that delivery. So for her to feel like she's got like her hips are moving out of joint and her back is tightening up, shoulders. I mean, there's so many different things that come in, and then you can compound that with also having the weight to the front. So now your back is feeling it. And then, of course, she's not holding back from going through and doing anything like picking up Ryland. So we have this
he's a
whole other
whopping
thing.
23 pounds as well.
Exactly. So you have so much of this that's going on at the same time. And so the chiropractor is a huge piece of just getting some level of comfort that would be fantastic for Savannah to feel better.
So he did joke about, so when you're ready for that baby to come out, just come on in and I'll give you that special adjustment.
We kind of laugh because somebody did ask him that question. So for him, it's like in his repertoire of, ways to kind of make us laugh a little bit. So we thought, do we do the special adjustment? We have the dates, and then with the raspberry tea.
Raspberry leaf tea. And keep in mind, these are old wives' tales. How much of it, there's proof, I don't know. And the walking, because I would normally go for a walk once or twice a day anyway with my son in the stroller. So it was just a case of curb walking.
Well, the curb walking has a little more of a science foundation to it.
Of course, the idea is if your baby's head is in the right place and you're bouncing, you're basically getting your baby to bounce on your cervix to dilate it further. Right. And there were so many times where it's like, oh, this is going to be it. This is going to be it. And
so
then
we're doing this illusion of having a normal day, right? We get up in the morning.
Yes.
And then
it's okay. Let's just go about the day.
Just like it's a normal day. But you're always conscientious of the idea that we're not going to be too far away from anything, and we're going to have everything with us.
Especially because I was already over my due date. Again, due dates, take it with a grain of salt because
we learned the statistic. Let's share it.
5% of babies are born on their due date.
Right. So that means the rest of them aren't.
It is just a date. So if you're pregnant or you're waiting for your baby to be born or you're discouraged by the due date and the baby hasn't come yet, just forget about it because it really is just a gauge. No one knows exactly how far along you are.
Well, and there's something very special about really a birthday. This is her birthday. And when we thought about this, we also had the offer from the doctor to do an induction, which
she wanted
would
to
schedule the birthday, right?
She came to me and she said, so how do you feel about having a birthday party at 39 weeks? And I said, no.
Yeah, so
I don't want to do that.
We're very particular about it. And
that's us. It doesn't have to be anyone else.
Everyone can choose, and we're not saying there's a right or wrong, but for our point of view, we wanted our little girl to come join us when she was ready. And
she had no medical issues or health issues.
And we're predicated with that as well. So the whole idea behind even having an induction to me, and this is, again, personal for us as parents, is the idea that if there is any sign of a health or a medical issue, the induction is important. That's a tool in the arsenal that's going to be very much available. But we didn't want, from our point of view, to actually schedule a date. We wanted her to pick her day. And she did. She actually kind of did do that. I know we assisted a little bit with some of the help
the membrane
of our doctors,
sweeps and things like that.
But again, we could see just by our description right now, going through 2 membrane sweeps and Savannah's contractions kicking in and then sort of like disappearing. So she really did pick her day, and we're very happy for that. So
we went basically after the second membrane sweep on the Tuesday. We went through Wednesday, Thursday with this on and off, and then Friday again it was an on and off thing, and then Saturday came. So the illusion of normalcy starts changing. Yes, I thought because the baby's got to come right eventually. Yeah, so you're getting closer to that point. So on a Wednesday night, I'm at work and I'm realizing, okay, Savannah. So you have to understand from her perspective, she's feeling all this. From my perspective, I'm observing all this, right? And so from an observation point of view, Savannah, and I don't think it's unique necessarily to her, but I think a lot of mothers go through this end time of the end of the pregnancy and the beginning of the getting through the birth process where she's extraordinarily tired, right? The cravings, and she didn't have crazy cravings, so all the myths about like pickles and ice cream and stuff like that. She did have her specific desires. So we had all those. And so my job is to make sure I cater to all those and make sure they happen as quickly as possible. Because if it's an unsatisfied craving, it is not a good thing. But she was going through these steps at the end where for those men out there that are experiencing this with their significant others or wives,
it is a beautiful process. However, there's an exhaustion that's occurring with her. So the desire for sleep is huge. And so as I was watching her, I was watching for the same signs we saw with Ryland, and so in Savannah's case, no different with our little girl. She is going through this end stage where you want to sleep, you're not comfortable. You want to sleep, but you're still not comfortable. Then you're hungry, then you're not comfortable. And it's like this whole cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to go through this idea of normalcy, right? So on Wednesday night, I thought it's going to happen on Thursday. So I basically worked from home that day. And it's like, we're ready, bags are packed, or, we had the bags packed for a long time. So we were prepared for that part. But we're thinking, okay, we're on the edge here. So I'm like, this is my last meeting. And then, okay, the next meeting comes. No, this is my last meeting. This is going to be the next one. And at the end of the day, it's
so he's like telling all his work colleagues, yeah, today's the day.
Today's the day.
And then the next day comes, today's the day.
Yeah, and it's not today. So
you just keep going and going.
And then Friday, we ended up saying, okay, let's do something normal.
Yes. And we just went about the day, coffee,
we had
whatever.
A cup of coffee, and we took care of errands.
I think that helped a little bit. There's so much in when the due date comes, as at least in my perspective, there was a little bit more of a pressure and exhaustion, just pressure with myself I'm so exhausted. I'm going to be beyond exhausted when I need to get into active labor, if this is what pre-labor is looking like. So I really got so desperate to the point where I tried everything underneath the sun, but that stress did not help. So when we took Friday, just relax. Nothing you do is going to be this magical answer to induce labor. And we did that. So Friday was a lot more laid back. And then Saturday, through the early hours of the Saturday morning, I woke up with a few contractions. And then when I got up and moving, that's the big telltale sign. They say if you're really in true labor, no matter what position you change into, no matter what you're doing, the contractions will continue. And that's how you can tell it apart from Braxton Hicks or false labor is, I stood up, I started walking, and they continued a little bit. Then I had a few hours break during the day. We still went out for groceries. We got a full fridge stocked and everything.
We wanted to be ready.
We prepped our meals. My mom was still with us, so she was helping with our son. And we came back and we said, okay, we're all going to take a nap.
That was nice, by the way. Naps are so precious.
They're perfect. And you know what? I needed that because that relaxed my body so much. I went and laid down for a nap. And I think I went down at 3. And I woke up just after 4 with contractions. And they never stopped. They kept coming 5-10 minutes apart, very intense, but I could still kind of talk through it. So it's intense to the point where it takes my breath away, but I'm not in, how can I say, unimaginable pain. So I came downstairs to everyone and saying, the contractions are continuing.
I think we should get ready. So she started with this might be the time.
Because after an entire week of you think this is it, I don't want to get everyone hyped up again because I don't want to get myself hyped up again. So I say, okay, I think we should just prepare. So
but it's more than that. Remember, you were drawing from your experience with Ryland.
Yes.
So with Ryland, we had 2 times we went to the hospital.
This is our firstborn.
Yeah,
yes.
Really thinking that we were going to...
We had 2 false alarms.
2 false alarms. We get over there and they say, hey, great to see you. Go back home.
Yes.
so we wanted to make
most
sure.
hospitals, you have to be about 3 to 5 centimeters dilated to be checked in, but also having consistent contractions about 4 to 5 minutes apart, lasting a minute long. So I just got to the point where I did not want to be, yes, she agrees. We did not want to be taken into the hospital and just be sent back. So after I woke up at around 4:30 and I came down and I told everyone, I think we should have an early dinner.
It's just very mildly
and
saying
I'm sitting on the carpet with my exercise ball with our son as he's running around playing. I'm playing with him. And then a contraction hits. And I cannot focus on him. I cannot focus on something he's doing. And my mom is giving me counter pressure. And my mom's looking at me. It's like, this is pretty intense. It's like, yeah, it's pretty intense. And then the 5 to 10 minute interval starts closing in. Now, instead of 8, 9, or 10 minutes apart, it's now becoming much closer. So Omar's making dinner. He made a wonderful broccoli dish. I was so happy that was actually the last dish we had right before I went into labor. And it's about 7 o'clock.
Yeah, and so Savannah's still being very casual. It's like, oh, it's okay. I'm
No,
timing
it was
things.
intense. Okay,
She's timing everything, so we're watching.
I'm timing everything
on
my app has told me, keep timing, start getting ready to go to the hospital. And I've had this thing tell me this several times the past week, so I'm taking this very lightly.
So for those of you out there, apps don't know everything.
So we sat down, and as we started having dinner, prior to that, my contractions were probably about 8 or 9 minutes apart. And then from the time we started sitting down at the table having dinner, all of a sudden 5-6 minutes apart. And the 5-minute mark is where they say go to the hospital.
So keep in mind that as she's going through these, you can see her. It's like she's turning onto herself. She's in her space in her mind. You can see that everything stops, right? I mean, everything is
we'll
focused
be in the middle of a conversation, and I would have been laughing, or don't let someone make you laugh during a contraction.
Another one of those things. Right? If you make your wife laugh, then she's going to go ahead and give birth, right? No, it's not going to happen. But we could see it from my point of view. I'm looking at the outside, that I could see the intensity of the internal part that's happening with her in her mind and her body as she's focusing on the contraction. But it's a complete shutdown of the world around her. And so as I'm watching these happen, the longer they last, the more I'm aware of it from the outside, that she's kind of aware of it as she's timing it.
And then my mom looks over to me after we're eating for a few minutes, and she's like, Savannah, that one was pretty close to the other one. And I look down, it's like 5.5, 6 minutes. It's like, yeah, no, they're getting pretty close. That's all I say.
But she says that, and then she starts playing the rest of the evening. Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and give Rylan a bath.
Yes, this is what I did. I said we were done with dinner. I say, okay, let's do this. I want to give Ryland as normal of an evening as possible. And then I told Omar, go give Ryland a shower or a bath upstairs. So he starts getting Ryland ready. And I leave to use the restroom. And in the time that I was sitting down to go to the restroom, man, the strong one hit. And then it was 4.5 minutes apart from the other one. And I come out the bathroom and I say, we need to go now.
So context here a little bit. We have a wonderful, wonderful staff at the hospital that we've actually gained a lot of respect and confidence and comfort with over a period of time. The hospital is about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on traffic. So in my mind, this is the man calculating, right? I'm thinking, I hope it doesn't happen during rush hour, because it's going to take a lot longer than that, right? So, so in my mind, I'm calculating this.
So in our minds, we're thinking either very early hours of the morning or late in the evening would be like,
every time we hit this clock, and she didn't know this, so I'm just going to share this with her. Every time we hit this clock during the day, my mind was calculating traffic and trying to figure this out, because
I'm not thinking about that.
She's not thinking about that. So for me, the ultimate thing was I needed to be there and be ready. And so there were two things that were very, very important to me. One was I needed to be lucid and not sleep deprived enough to handle being there when she needed me the most. And the second part is it was always watching to say, what do we anticipate the problem could be to get to the hospital? And so, I mean, you could have anything from an accident on the freeway, whatever it would be. So you're always planning this. So things like the gas tank was full in the car, every car.
The bags were already in the car.
The bags were in the car. Food was in the fridge. You kind of make sure you're pre-prepping for almost everything. And then there's the work things, of course, I had to get done. And then by the time I got to the point on the Thursday, essentially, I had done, I think, everything that I could do, which meant some fairly long nights earlier leading up to this. But it was always this calculation in my mind, like, okay, it's Saturday.
So at this point,
time. It was more relaxing for me, realizing I potentially didn't have to deal with, because you never know on the freeways.
So then what was your thought then when I came out the bathroom? I just sent you upstairs with him and I said, we need to go. Did you freak out a little bit?
No, it was not freaking out, but it was this
reality of like, it's happening.
It was go time.
Time.
And for me, and also for, I mean, I'm not going to speak for Savannah, she'll speak for herself, but for me, it was this moment of where you're trying to get ready for an amazing event, right? I mean, this is the birth of our daughter. But at the same time, you don't exactly know when you're getting ready for all this, right? You could be getting ready for a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You don't know. And so there's always this like, okay, where is it going to be? It's not like you're leading up to, say, a very specific event. Like it could be a wedding or it could be a vacation or whatever it would be. You know you're going to that date. It's going to catch you off guard. So you're always on this edge of being ready for that moment where she says, we got to go. Mm-hmm. And so when she came out, we got to go, then everything adjusted.
And I walked upstairs because we were at this time getting our son ready to go to bed. And I said to my mom, can you handle putting him down? And Omar and I really love seeing him to bed or to sleep just because there's something about him seeing us for the last time before he closes his eyes.
Yeah,
so I came upstairs. It's like, I need to say goodnight to him. I need to give him a hug and a kiss and, love on him, especially because that would be the last time that it would be just him.
Yeah. And so this ties into something that's very different when you have your second child. And Savannah can already see it.
Yeah.
And it's the same. It's a little different for me because we plan things differently from my activity through all this, and we'll go through that in a little bit. But Savannah knew that she was going to be away from Ryland for longer than just a few hours.
Mm-hmm. And I've never really been away from him more than about 6, and that was accidental. It wasn't purposeful. So going upstairs and obviously I'm in active labor at this point, and I'm trying to say goodnight to him, but the emotions hit of, our firstborn. And, also the part of you trying to figure out as a mom, how are you going to have enough love for these 2 human beings? Mm-hmm. Because you already fall so much in love with, obviously, our son, and I don't want to disappoint him as well. So, it's okay. She's dreaming. As I'm trying to breathe through contractions and everything and giving him a kiss, he's exhausted. He's ready to go to bed. He doesn't want to be bothered.
But he is very sensitive. So he does understand there was a change happening. But the entire
time I was having contractions, he'd come to me, huh? He'd be like really concerned. He'd pick up on, there's something going on. And he could tell for a while before.
He's a very intuitive little guy.
So the goodbye was very emotional to him. It wasn't that I was very comfortable with my mom being with him. But it was knowing the next time I step into this house, it's going to be different. Yeah. So then we went to the hospital. Yeah, and at that point, it was about 7:30. We got onto the road. We were having really wonderful conversations in between the contractions. It was nice. Yeah. They were now exactly 5 minutes apart, and there was a few that was 4.5.
So we're feel comfortable. Traffic's fine.
It was actually really good at that time.
As I said before,
it's a Saturday night.
We were prepared. It's a Saturday night or a Saturday late afternoon, evening, and we felt that plenty of time. Now, this was a very false sense of security for us, and it became very clear as we got to the hospital. But it was good to be able to feel like everything was set.
It was. I was very grateful for the drive there. I mean, yes, obviously I still had the contractions, but yes, there was something in like it felt like a bit of a break, and it didn't feel that extreme with the drive. And then you get back to the hospital, and obviously it's like now you need to walk through the doors. So I have to walk from a parking lot to get into the hospital.
And we took our time.
We did. When I had contractions, I needed to stop. I needed to breathe and then get going.
As a funny little anecdotal note, the level of planning that goes through my mind included thinking about the parking spaces and the parking structure that we were going to.
It was nice and quiet at that time. It was
nice and quiet, and so I was very grateful for that, because then you're not dealing with everything else that's going on at the same time. If it were like midday, Hospital tends to be very busy with visitors and everything else.
So we had plenty of options, especially because we had a Suburban, so it's a much longer car. We were able to find a spot.
Right away. I mean, it was
went
right up
through
front.
security in the hospital.
Which is interesting because you feel like telling them, "Hey, I don't have time for this.
Yes.
We have to get my wife."
Well, unfortunately, it's like
she's going through labor, right?
Those are things that you can't fast track, but we got through it quickly anyway. And they at the front desk, they called labor and delivery, the ward, and they were able to kind of understand, I'm in active labor. It's 4 to 5 minutes apart.
Right.
Like, okay, let's check you in. So we walk up to labor and delivery, and they take me to triage. And again, the questions you have to answer as you're sitting there.
And they're being very careful.
They are being very careful as much as they can be. But like when they ask you a question and you're in the middle of a contraction, it's like really hard, to focus or pay attention, because at that point you just want to focus on breathing, because that's the most important, just to get through that minute long. And
so I try to do as much as I can, but keep in mind, from a medical perspective, they want to hear from her.
The response from me.
They want the response. I mean, even if it's something fairly mundane. So my role from a medical point of view was just authorizing procedures. That was it.
Yeah, but there was also a few things I told, which we'll get to. I told Omar prior that when I'm in the moment of giving birth, I'm not going to think about it. Please let them know. And they got me into triage. And something I hadn't mentioned before was, at my last membrane sweep, I was 2 centimeters dilated. I went from about a 0.5 centimeter from my first membrane sweep to 2 centimeters. And I was basically fully effaced at that point. That basically means your cervix is like that thick. This is like the wall between you and your baby coming out. That you effaced is basically how much of that cervix is away to being completely open and exposed. And I was about 95% at my second membrane sweep, but I was only 2 centimeters. So when they got me into triage, it was normal. Everything was fine. No stress. I mean, they hooked me up to the heart rate monitors and the contraction monitor on my belly. And the nurse did a check and she's like, okay, you're about 4.5 centimeters. So at that point, I could be checked in. But then they started worrying about her heart rate. And her heart rate was not slowing down. It was just
going up. So
extraordinarily high, like 180, 185.
So you're thinking, as a parent, what do? You're in the best place because the nursing staff and the doctors over there are excellent.
Well, what was scary is, yes, you have a nurse come in, but when they bring in someone, that's higher up.
Yeah, you start wondering a little bit more.
So she walks in the room and she looks at me. She looks at the monitor, says, so her heart rate is quite high and it hasn't gone down. So now it's coming. Like the news of, okay, what needs to be done next? What's the steps? We're going to have to do like a swab to check if you have an infection and see what's going on, to see why her heart rate could be so high.
And just as for background for everybody, the protection your baby has in you is that plug that goes in there. So that's the outside world to the inside world, for your child. And so the minute you start effacing, and then
the risk for infection is extraordinarily
much
high.
higher. So this is not the idea that somehow her water broke. That wasn't the concept behind it. It's just that level of protection that you have has diminished substantially, and you don't know what's happening.
Because I also told them, listen, I've been in prodromal labor for a week now, so they're aware of that. And her next thing was like, well, has your water broken? No, my water hasn't broken. And her biggest concern was that my water had probably ruptured higher up and it was leaking, causing her heart rate to spike because she was stressed out and there was an infection going on, and I had no idea. So she wanted to do like a speculum check. So she basically, if you've It's just like a little machine that they put up there to get a clear view, open you up a little bit. And she wanted to quickly do the swab. So she checked me again, and she looks up at me and said, "Sweetie, your water's broken." So my water had just broken when they had put me into triage, because it hadn't broken before. Because the nurse who had checked me before didn't also see that my water had broken.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel it. Because remember, I can feel everything.
So just
I'm not on medication.
The amusing part is, I think, before going through, both of our children's birth, if you think about the average person out there who hasn't experienced this,
They're water breaking.
They're water breaking, the ambulance sounds, they're racing through the city streets.
The very dramatic.
The dramatic,
scenes.
I'm delivering the baby in the back seat, of whatever it is. That's all Hollywood. It doesn't mean that those things don't occur, but the timing of this is a very natural process. And it's a very beautiful process as well. But when you start seeing that, when the water breaks in the movies, it's like somebody opened up like a gallon of water and they dump it on the ground.
It can be like that, but for the most part, that's just very extreme.
It's very extreme. So the perception of this, I think, is very important. So I think the more educated you are, for those of you who want to be parents, the more comfortable you're going to feel with the process, particularly as a woman. For me, it's always the same, right? From my perspective, I'm not experiencing the internal components of trying to see what it is for the growth of the baby and everything else, and certainly not the delivery. But I can see from the outside what's important to remember, and then understand how two parents are very important, I think, for a child coming into this world. However, that being the case, I think for a woman's perspective, and you can say whether you agree or not, I think the more you're educated on your body and the different things or different aspects that will occur and are planned to be occurring, sharing that kind of experience with potentially other mothers or some of the medical staff or everybody else, you start now getting a better feel as to what to expect as it's occurring.
It's amazing to be in tune with your body, just because you can pick up on very small changes, and that's everything from the whole journey of trying to conceive, being pregnant, being able to pick up on what's normal, what isn't normal. And in this moment, she looked and she says, "Your water's definitely broken." And she asked the nurse prior, who had checked me when I was 4.5. This was probably only half an hour between the two.
It's a very short period of time. It's the entry into the
first time
hospital.
She checked me, and then now she's doing another cervical check. And she's like, "Well, your water's broken. You didn't feel your water break?" It's like, well, she just checked. She did a cervical check, and oftentimes they use a loop just to obviously make it easier to go in. And I had assumed that was kind of the wet or runniness that I was feeling. And then, but as they were moving my legs to do a check, it's like, oh yeah, no, it was definitely coming. You could tell without a doubt my water had broken. And then she's like, "Oh, okay, I don't need to do the check anymore, because now she definitely knows my water's broken." And they're just going to do like a COVID swab up at my nose.
Always fun.
Because they were worried about COVID, which...
This is back again to the idea of her elevated heart rates.
Elevated heart. They're trying to figure out why her heart is so elevated, because it still was pretty high. And then she checked me again. She says, "You mind if I check how far dilated?" I was a 7.5.
So she went...
I went from about 4.5 centimeters to 7.5 in a matter of half an hour to, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like that.
A very, very short period of time, and a very, very quick change, overall.
So then they start moving, they start picking up the pace, because they want to get me now actually checked into a labor room. So as we got to the labor room, and I had to sit down on the bed and then move, my nurse, Christina, saw, there was a brown discharge coming with my water. She's like, "Oh, it looks like she pooped in you." So at that point now, it's like she's stressed out because there's meconium. Yes. So basically meconium is, they call it MEC for short, is where your baby's pooped inside of you. So they can be stressed out because obviously they're breathing in your amniotic fluid. And if you have, poop floating in your amniotic fluid and your baby is inhaling that, that's stressful. It's blocking airways. It's not very good, and that can be a very big cause for infection and respiratory problems coming out as they're being born.
So we're kind of racing in our minds.
In our minds,
next?
I'm
What's going to
thinking,
happen?
it's like, let's do whatever we need to do to get her out as fast as possible. And obviously, I didn't say it in the moment, but as a mom, you're thinking about it. I do want a natural vaginal birth, and I was thinking, gosh, is she going to get to the point where we need to have an emergency C-section?
And I'm thinking the same thing. What's ironic about it is we never talked about that.
No, we never talked about it, just because I think you and I know, let's not bring something up when it's not necessary right now to create unnecessary stress.
Right. And so
the doctors know best.
So for me, you have to rely on your medical professionals for this. And this is why selecting, I think, your OB initially is really important. Selecting your hospital, your birth process, everything that you really want that's important for you. But one of the things that came to my mind was, okay, this might be a C-section.
Yeah.
But it was not something I was going to actually say to Savannah because I wanted to not create any stress within her. Now, I think this is probably the first time I'm realizing that she actually
we've never spoken about it,
but she also thought about it as well.
I definitely did. I mean, the moment I say the high up doctor walked in and said, listen, her heart rate is very high, my mind went to, and I do have goosebumps. It's not that I wouldn't have a C-section, without a doubt. Whatever gets my baby here to be safe, I'll do it. But there's a bit of a, it's not something you want. It's not something you plan for. And so my mind automatically went there. It's like, okay, so we're in the situation where we might have to have an emergency procedure performed. And when they started seeing how accelerated my labor was going, it was a little bit of an inhale and an exhale of relief, just because if that was an emergency right there and then, they would have gotten me into to give birth to her.
So Savannah and I have also talked over, basically over the years about how we want the birth experience to be. We settled on this approach, and this is not to say that there isn't obviously many, many different ways of doing this. Some people want to have a birth underwater. Some people want to have a birth at home. There are different kinds of ways, and everyone has to make their choices. We opted for as much of a natural birth as possible with the support of the medical team. I think that's probably
we just wanted to be prepared if there was a complication. We were in the right place. And we were not scrambling to get to a hospital because we weren't in the right place.
Right. So I think this is an important decision point that I think every parent has to go through with, their parents have to go through for their children, for their birth story. I think it's important to be educated on it.
We were very happy with the nurse staff with our son, because they were both born at the same hospital. So even though we were considering going to a birthing center where you do have the luxury of a bed, a bath, a shower to give birth into and everything, I was happy to go back to our hospital just because the nurses were amazing. And those are the people that get you through your labor. Your doctor's there when you're actively pushing and delivering your placenta, but nothing else. Yeah. So at that point, when we saw the meconium, we had a bit of a better understanding what was going on and why she was, her heart rate was so high. So, I mean, they monitored me pretty well. At that point, I was so tired. I just said, okay, can I get the epidural at this point? And they were able to bring the anesthesiologist in. And it was a bit more of a longer process than I think I expected. Compared to last time, I think it was just so long. It was a different doctor.
Yeah, well, we don't know who you're going to get. I mean, honestly, it's going to be whoever's on call. Mm-hmm. He was extremely meticulous. So I'm watching him like a hawk, what he's doing.
I was still stressed out when he walked out the room, and I looked at my nurse and I said, he doesn't know what he's doing, right? Because he was going back and forth so much, and he had forgotten a tool, which
was not in a drawer in the room itself. So
which it's like, how do you not have the tool on hand that you need to use to perform this procedure?
And it's a very it's a very meticulous routine procedure, and I get that they do it
They're
this way.
sticking how long of a needle up in your spine,
Yeah.
and he's missing a tool, and he's running over the place, and I'm thinking, oh my
and just
gosh.
to let everybody know, he didn't start it until he had everything, so it wasn't like he was midway through the process.
But the whole point was he just didn't feel like he was very confident, if you ask me.
I think that's probably it. So
and
it's not. And he's done this a lot of times because we did ask the question afterwards, and he did it. He did a great job.
He did fine. Yes,
he did
was fine.
But there was a big difference between him and then the one who
we had with our son.
There was it
was quick with the other one.
It was very quick.
Gosh, she was in and out of that room so fast.
But I will tell you one thing that I've learned why do we appreciate the staff over there so much? And that's because of their quiet confidence.
Oh, and they're so reassuring, when you need that.
And that energy carries through. It's like you walking in a room and feeling confident about the person who's there with you or people there with you.
Or cracking a joke just at the right time when you need it.
She had a nice little sense of humor. This guy didn't have any of that. So, this is why I think
but anesthesiologists don't normally.
Are you saying that they're not capable of humor?
No, that's not what I'm saying. All the anesthesiologists I've met they don't have a great bedside manner, which is why they do what they do, because they don't necessarily interact with you. So it was okay. So I had the epidural.
He had I think, I don't know another way of saying it. He had like a natural tension about him.
He did.
That was just him. It wasn't anything more about skills or anything else. But once he was done and he was gone, we were left with Christina. Who was the nurse that was with us the entire time, and that was the great part of the experience and the reason why we absolutely appreciate the staff there.
And she was really great because obviously as the epidural is starting to kick in, she's coming in and saying, okay, we're going to use the peanut and we're going to lay you on your side so we can...
I forgot about the peanut. It was so funny. And it does look like a giant peanut.
Yes. So if you have like an exercise ball, imagine the exercise ball literally shaped in the form of a peanut, like a giant peanut.
But giant,
obviously,
really big.
Big enough to support your legs and everything. Obviously, because you can't really move when you have the epidural.
Can I just say it? It is so funny. We ended up in exactly the same room that we had Ryland.
That is right, but so was our triage room. Was it the same as well?
Exactly. It was just funny how, and mind you, there's lots of rooms you could go in this hospital, right? And it's not just that.
And was it room 4?
No, it was actually room 1.
Room 1.
But we were in room 1 before.
Okay. Yeah. So we ended up.
It was so, because you walked in there, it's like, I've already seen this room. I know what this room has. I know where all the parts are. I also know where that horrible chair is I have to sit on and be part of. And then I know the room where she's going to be. It was very amusing to us to say, wow, this is exactly the same room. So this will be a story we'll share with you.
So as we're now relaxed, we're realizing all of these things because the stress of the situation is not as extreme as what we thought it was going to be. Everything is okay. Her heart rate is still elevated, but they're not concerned because the biggest thing is if it spikes too high and then has a dip or whatever it is. She was staying consistently high, but the other circumstances seemed to be fine. My contractions started spacing out just because getting an epidural does do that. It relaxes your body very much. So they gave me Pitocin Pitocin helps induce your contractions. So helps pick it up to push it along. And at that point when they got me into my room, was it like 10 p.m.? 10:30?
Yeah,
You're the one that sent out messages and everything. I don't think I was keeping
it was around that
time.
I was letting the family know where we were and the different steps that we were in.
Yes, so I got a couple doses of Pitocin and it was fine. She checked me an hour after my epidural and I was still at a 7.5. That's why they got me on it. Mm-hmm. And let's see, when she came in to check me again at... What was it, 1?
No, it was earlier than that. It was not 1. I think she was there around something. It was past midnight.
They did a few checks. But I'm trying to think of the point where she actually was surprised that I was already a 10.
That was around 1 o'clock, yeah.
Around 1 o'clock. So I was 10 centimeters. So we got to the hospital. I was in triage at 8:30. I was 4.5. And then by the time 1 o'clock came, I was 10.
This was very fast. I mean, and in comparison to Ryland, it
Which
was much,
they
much
said was
longer.
to be expected, just
As
because
first child, yes.
your first
So-
child, everything is new and the body is still not stretched out yet, and muscle memory and things like that. So I mean, we were expecting it to be faster, but it was much faster than.
And we were actually in our moments of humor. Okay, through all this, we were thinking, okay, is she gonna
Be born on October 4th.
or October 5th? It was like right on the cusp, right? So we thought, which day are you picking, little girl?
No,
Which one's it going to be?
I knew it wasn't going to be the 4th.
I
That seemed a little bit
because
accelerated.
Of how fast she.
Well, yes,
dilated,
when we went from 4.5 to 7.5,
I thought, okay, for sure.
Oh my gosh, she's going to be
right?
born like soon.
Yeah, right. She'll be right here, you know.
But yes, the epidural, probably if I didn't get the epidural, it would have been faster, but I'm happy that I did. I was in a very good place. I was relaxed.
And the nurses, who have great sense of humor, came back and said, okay, next time, get in a little bit earlier.
A little bit earlier.
Yeah. So we laughed.
Yeah, I'm actually happy we came in when we did, just because it was
right.
perfect.
Yeah.
And so yes, at 1 a.m. I was 10 centimeters dilated. And she's like, oh wow, okay. Well, I gotta page the doctor. So she pages the doctor, and the doctor's like, okay, I'm 5 minutes away. You can start when I'm in the hospital on the premises. You can do a few practice pushes. So we did, what is it? A set of 3 with her.
Yeah.
So 10 seconds, hold your breath, push. And she's like, stop. Stop. After that third one, it's like, that's enough. Let's wait for the doctor. Because then at that point, I really started getting the urge to push, because you can feel how dilated you are, and your body is naturally trying to get your baby out at that point. And our doctor was not on call, so you do have your OB, but then you will automatically get the doctor that is on call for that day. So she ended up being great. I'm glad she came in. She came in on time. So within the 5 minutes, she was there, and she's like, oh, okay. So we're going to do a couple more of the pushes. And we also did a set of 3 with her, right? So the first one went good. And by the second one, she's like, oh, she's there, she's crowning. And gosh, this moment, I was lying in bed, and they're like, now they're getting things ready. And they had a team on, there was more people in the room than with our son.
Yeah, it was
just because they were worried about her meconium. So they had, I don't know if it was a NICU team. It was a CHOC team.
It was a CHOC team.
So Children's Hospital team in the room, just in case she needed extra help when she came out because of the meconium. And as they're getting things ready, and said, okay, wait until you go again. As I looked at Omar, and I said, is her head there? Can you see her head? He's like, yeah, her head's there. So I never leaned down with my son to feel. Obviously, I think the first time I was a little bit more unsure. And this time it's like I leaned down and I felt her head with her hair. It's like I just started crying. And it's like, oh gosh, this feels so real now. And they said, okay, we're going to go again. And on the third one, she was like, she came right out. She just came right out.
She popped right out. She was just there.
And it's such a, oh my gosh, cloud 9 moment, because she had a little bit of the cry. So she did come out crying a little bit. And then she turned blue. Gosh, that was, my heart stopped. So she was on my chest. She did let out a bit of a cry, but you can obviously hear she's very clogged up. And the nurse right next to me is doing all the pats and trying to clear up and doing the suction from her mouth and everything. She's turning blue, and then she's like purple, she's blue, and then quiet. And then those few seconds feel extraordinarily long. She manages to get her breathing again, so she's red and rosy, so she's gaining color. And then it happened a second time.
So they were clearing out all the amniotic fluid from inside.
And the amniotic fluid and the meconium that had caused, obviously, her accelerated heart rate. they do say when your baby is born so fast, and generally when you have a bit of a longer labor and you're pushing for a little bit longer, your baby has time to get that out of their system.
Mm-hmm.
And now that she came so quickly in those few pushes, she's still got a bunch of amniotic fluid that her body is trying to get out, which is now causing her to be so congested.
So she's, it's very obvious to see it. I mean, on a child that little, the color change in skin
it's immediate.
It's immediate. So they were basically on it, and they did it on a repeated basis just to get everything cleared out.
So she was on my chest. I can't give it a time reference, but they didn't completely let me just hold her by myself until they knew the coast was basically clear.
And Savannah's right. I mean, in the moment, if you've ever experienced anything that can be that intense, right? I mean, and a birth definitely is in that category. Time is very different for you. I mean, time moves in very small increments. I mean, it's like fractions of seconds, and you're aware of everything. So all of this happened with her. We're describing it, and it takes a lot longer to describe it, but it happened very quickly. They were on it. They were clearing her passageway.
She was fine.
She was fine. She took a breath. It wasn't like she stopped. It was just a very quick process. But for us, time slowed down to this real short increments.
Because you hear the cry and you want to continue hearing the cry. Yeah. And when the cry stops.
And within moments, she was actually, I would say, I mean, this is a gauge looking back, but maybe within a minute to a minute and a half, she was actually on Savannah's chest for the golden hour. So,
yes.
So she was right there. It wasn't like it went completely away.
So they were able to just get into a good spot where they weren't concerned basically on now checking on her breathing. Naturally, she's on my chest. I'm making sure she's still breathing, and she's still expelling quite a bit of amniotic fluid, which she took a while to process for days after that. And Omar was able to then cut the umbilical cord. Yeah. They actually took a video of that. I was so surprised. They took a video of you cutting the umbilical cord.
I was a little surprised too.
That's really nice.
So we gave up one of our phones, my phone specifically, so
the nurses could snap a few pictures.
Because we wanted to document. I mean, it's really an amazing, momentous occasion. We had a different presence of mind than with Rylan because everything was a little more. Put it this way: we could anticipate the different steps. Versus with him, everything
was brand new, unexpected. We had no idea. So this time around, we knew we wanted, some more pictures than what we had with our son, but we didn't necessarily want to have to stress about getting there because we want to enjoy the moment. So prior to that, we did speak to the nurses to please take a few pictures. Omar also was able to tell the nurse, I was very curious about my placenta, what my placenta looked like, because I didn't see it with my son. I didn't want to keep my placenta. I think I've just seen pictures of it online, but I wanted to see what mine looked like. And it was actually so much smaller than what I thought it was going to be.
It's a very interesting part to see.
The assistant helping the doctor was like really confused as to why I wanted to see it. Did you notice that? Yeah. It's like, why would she want to see it? I'm just so curious. So that was what helped me carry my baby.
So there's a natural part of the beauty of it's really a miracle when you see how everything lines up. I mean, for me to cut the cord, so to speak, that's when my emotion, I think, kicked in. Before that, it was always watching like a hawk, everybody going on, what they were doing. Keeping track of Aurelia, keeping track of Savannah, making sure that I can see what's happening. Obviously, from a dad's point of view, you're not doing anything. Everyone else is doing something, right? So that my role was just, in my mind, was just watching over everything. Mm-hmm. But when I cut the cord, then my emotion came in because there was our little girl. Mm-hmm. It was. And I didn't want to hold her, and it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's because the most important part was Savannah having Aurelia right next to her, and that the skin contact and that moment. my chance for that was later when I was able to hold her after that golden hour. But I marvel at the miracle. We are built to do this. I mean, and women in particular, it is inane to them. It's instinctual to them. It's part of their soul. And there's also part of a purpose. And it's not something a man can understand. But to be a dad, to see that happening, there is no other way to describe the feeling. It's a beautiful little life that's a miracle that's just joined you. And we are very fortunate that we were able to have miracles still happen. So.
We're beyond grateful that I think our labor panned out the way that it did.
Yeah.
We had amazing doctors and staff around us. And, in that moment, there's still people walking around that hospital room, but it's like in that moment, it's you, me, and her. That's all I can feel, all I can see. It's that very moment of we've just grew our family by another one. And obviously in my mind, it's like my love is already pouring into her. And as I'm looking at her, it's like I see our son, and my memories flash back to giving birth to him. And it's just this amazing gratitude to be able to walk through the journey of pregnancy, to be able to birth them. And now they're here with us.
And I realized when I look at that little hand, and she has long fingers, which is really cute.
And she does have long fingers.
I realized, okay, there's that little finger that I'm wrapped around now. And mind you, Ryland also has a little finger that I'm wrapped around. But it is a very beautiful, unimaginable description of how it feels to be a parent.
Your world changes.
The world changes. Everything
and it changed
changes.
again.
It changed
with
again.
her.
And so then after that became the sort of like the time now sped back up again to normal time speed. And it was a matter of beyond that golden hour, it was checking everything. It was checking her weight and checking her color.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this moment of, for me, want to get her to the postpartum
recovery
room. I mean, clearly you're dealing with delivery room is very different. And it was great to have Christina, her humor with us and be able to talk to us. And you could see her.
She was wonderful.
Her competence, but it was also, it's great to know them a little bit. I mean, you really get to know them in this moment, but, you understand, she also has children.
Yeah, and listen to a little bit of her story and how she got to where she is in her profession. And you can see she loves what she does. Mm. She was beyond excited when she checked me and I was 10 centimeters. She's like, oh, I knew it. I knew she was going to be born this morning. It's a little bit sooner than what I thought she was going to be, but I knew it. Yeah. She's the excitement that she's now going to be able to watch our daughter be born into the world. How amazing of a human are you to be excited to watch someone else bring a child into the world and show almost as much enthusiasm as the mom themselves. Yeah. She was just beyond thrilled. I mean, she was excited for me before I was excited for myself. It's like, okay, it's time. And even throughout, obviously having to get out of bed, you need to go through certain steps after giving birth for them basically to clear you. You need to be able to stand. After the epidural, you need to be able to use the restroom. And she was amazing in getting me from the labor and delivery room to postpartum recovery to another nurse, which she was very, very good friends with.
So it was nice to see this transition team that was there. Mm. And then we had the next steps that were for us was getting Savannah in a place that she could, I'll use the word quote unquote rest, because that's not a restful room, even though it is postpartum.
Yeah, because they're still coming in and checking my vitals. My blood pressure was pretty low, which is pretty normal when I'm not pregnant. I have pretty low blood pressure, so they kept checking my blood pressure and then obviously checking on her as well. So Omar spent the morning over there.
Very little sleep. I mean, for me, it was now the balance point of coming back home.
Because we had our little boy.
Because we have our little boy here,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to be confused as to why we're not around.
And I told Omar, as much as I obviously want you here with me and our daughter, we need to make sure our little boy doesn't get too confused and he feels very much safe and secure in this big transition that's happening. So Omar got a little bit of sleep. I say little because...
Yeah, I had enough. Now, the postpartum recovery room is better suited for...
recovery. Yes, that's
well,
what
for
it's
recovery
meant
for you, but for the dad,
Mm-hmm.
In my case, I actually had a bench to lie on.
Rather than a upright chair.
One of the most uncomfortable chairs. So if
Mm-hmm.
anybody is tall, that chair is horrible,
Yes.
the delivery room. But, and of course we joked about it with Christina. It's like, oh, did it get more comfortable since the last time? It's like, no, still the same. It's like, do you need me to show you? It's like, no, I've already figured this one out. You remember it from the last time. So I sort of clocked out for a couple hours. I needed it because at that point there was no sleep.
Because we went through the night now, obviously in labor, so we didn't get sleep at all.
There was no sleep. So.
Between the time that I got my epidural and I was 10 centimeters, you got a tiny bit of sleep, I think.
Yeah.
But I wasn't able to sleep. So once everything got moving at like 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, you headed back to the house to see our son.
So by then he had woken up, and so there was not. This all occurred during his night, right? I mean,
right. So it felt like so much time had passed.
So in a strange way, whether we of course didn't plan this, it was actually better that way because from his perspective, he went to sleep and then he saw me the next morning.
I'm glad we didn't miss an entire day with him.
That
Obviously, I did
confusing.
with having to stay behind, but not an extra day because it was in the middle of the day.
So we made up for it a little bit after I was able to get a bit more sleep. The next stage was getting the ceremonial sushi lunch for Savannah.
So you then picked up my mom and Ryland and you guys came over to see me.
Yeah.
So Ryland meeting his sister. It's cute. He's obviously at the 14-month point. How much do you really understand? Not very much.
You sense, I think, more than anything else, but
yes.
to try to put it all together and what it really means, no, not so much.
So he came into the room and he saw her in the little hospital basket over there. It's like he loves little people. He locked eyes, and then when she came closer, he's like very interested in her poking her little eyes and nose and mouth.
He has this thing where it's like he wants to see what eyes feel like, and it's not like I'm going to gently touch your eye. It's like I'm going to try.
I need to poke it.
I need to poke the eye.
So
and he does that with his like little stuffed creatures.
Obviously, we've been teaching him for a while. Way before she was born to be gentle, and he's kind of picked up on it.
He has, yeah.
And so there was an initial interest in kind of looking at her, and then it's like, I'm in a hospital room. What can I play with?
Yeah, so now he wanted to explore, which is very much his age.
Yes, it's very sweet.
And of course, a hospital room and a child that's 14 months is not a great mix.
No, so you can imagine between Omar, my mom, and I, with Ryland and our daughter, we're kind of shuffling through. You got your eyes on Ryland.
Got my eyes on that
You're
little guy.
holding our daughter. I'm going to eat, and then we'll take turns to eat.
Yeah, so we the first time I think we, with Ryland, we had this laid out, like the great sushi. And
we still have a picture of all the sushi laid out on our hospital bed.
On the hospital bed. But then Ryland was like relaxing, as he would be, as a newborn. But it was just like the two of us. So we just enjoyed our lunch. And now it was like the juggling act, right? It was
it's now you're trying to make sure he doesn't get the sushi platter and throw it everywhere.
Correct, yes.
He doesn't get under the hospital bed, or he doesn't push buttons
or
cables.
Or the cords.
So it looked very different.
It was much more chaotic.
It was much more chaotic. Obviously, my mind is going through, oh my gosh, what is this going to look like with two?
Yeah.
And she's fast asleep right now, so she's fine. now too, but in the moment she was fast asleep. But it was this realization of, what did we get ourselves into?
Yeah, so there's this moment of realizing the juggling act has now changed. It's now the circus has grown.
Yes. So it's very different from the relaxation of having one and not having not having a second one to worry about. And now there's two of them, and they're on different routines, different schedules, different moods. I mean, everything.
That's a whole video onto itself.
It is a whole thing onto itself, and we're excited to do something on 2 Under 2.
We'll do a post-stork one. I think that would be fun for everybody to sort of see the first few weeks.
But it never gets old to give birth. I mean, I look at Omar as like this, it's amazing. And you feel such a high from it in the sense of the oxytocin release, meeting your baby. It's been such a mystery for 9 months. You've been kicking me for 9 months and she was a kicker. And now I'm officially holding her, and it's very, very surreal. I would do it 10 times over again.
It is a beautiful experience that the only word it keeps coming back to is it's a miracle.
Miracle.
But to see life start, find its way, she found her way into our hearts long before she was born. She found her way into our hearts when we felt her first heartbeat, or I didn't feel it, but heard it. Savannah could feel it, the movements. She moved into our life with her gymnastics that she did while she was in the womb. But she also moved into our life as she entered into Savannah's dreams. There was so much that she had come through. There was the funny moments that we had along the way where Savannah would correct me when I would say, "What would you like?" And it's like, this is what we want.
We would like.
This is what we would like. So these cravings are not me. It's what we want. We are one. And she's very, very much, very true. We are one. She is one with Aurelia. Now, in a new way, she's still one with her. And she's now grown so much. I mean, in a couple of weeks, this is the accelerated growth period, which, well, if there's an interest from our group out there, we would love to share a bit more about how that's happening for the first 3 months. We're much more aware, obviously, as parents. But I think the mission right after that was the mission to get everybody home.
Yes, it was nice to walk through the doors of the hospitals, go say goodbye, and then come home. It's very nice to be in your own space, and Ryland is very safe and comfortable in his home. And now we've brought his little sister home, and it's been a little adventure since.
There's still a lot more to come. There's still a room that's got to get finished. There's still baby proofing for Ryland's
It's
new
never
adventures.
ending when you have kids.
And then it's trying to figure out her sleep patterns, trying to see what makes her comfortable and what doesn't. There are challenges that we'll be happy to share as well. But we are so amazingly grateful for this beautiful experience, because it's just the beginning. And I think with Savannah, even though energy levels are very diminished at this point because we're very sleep deprived, we're laughing.
We are.
We're smiling.
It's so funny. Our son is so musically driven. If a song plays, he hops around. He's like, he does this half squat and he wiggles and he moves, and he is like the cutest thing to watch.
And then just to see her begin her journey too. I can almost imagine them both kind of doing the same kind of very strange dance with music. And Ryland happens to like 80s music, which is really funny. Savannah grew up with it, and of course I did as well. But it's so funny to watch them kind of get into that motion. But she's beginning to open her eyes and look at the world. And of course, she can't completely see as much right now. It's just too early. But we can't wait for each of those moments to come where she connects with us visually. She certainly hears us. She's very much in tune to her brother because she's been listening to him and his antics for the entire time.
A long time.
Her little ears were formed. But we're absolutely thrilled, and we're looking for the next stage.
We are now a family of 4.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's crazy to say. When we are out the house and getting packed into the car, it feels like a full
yes.
car.
Yeah,
we have 4 seats occupied now. It's real.
It's 4 seats. It takes longer to get somewhere.
Yes.
But just as with Ryland, we're thrilled to have her join our everyday activities. So she has already been out many times, whether it's grocery shopping or having a cup of coffee or following us on errands. She's with us every single step. And this is the beginning of her life and her little adventures with us. And then Ryland, of course, now has a completely different stage. He wants to walk everywhere because now he can walk. So we're looking forward to them growing together. I think that's going to be probably one of the most precious parts of the next steps of the journey is how close they get to be to each other.
Family is honestly the most precious thing in the entire world. And there's no words to describe how grateful we are to have welcomed our second little one into the world.
So if you have questions, we are more than happy to share more of our experience. And if you have specific things, and even if you have some challenges that you're wondering about what's it like from another parent's point of view, there is a beautiful connection between parents that's universal. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, doesn't matter what language you speak or what culture you're from. Becoming a parent is the same. It's universal. And it's a beautiful thing that we share with our world around us, not just us, but with lots of other creatures out there. And so we welcome any questions that you would have, and we appreciate your time in sharing this precious moment with us. And we'll definitely see some other ones coming up soon.
The Munch Corner is now the Munch Crew.
Yes,
we are
the Munch Crew.
We are a crew of 4, and we're always very excited to do another episode. And this one
is very special.
Very, very special to share with you. And we get to listen back onto it as well later on.
And we're still figuring it out, just like the rest of us.
Just like the rest of us.
Thank you so much for being with us and sharing this moment. And we're looking forward to having more adventures with you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.